Tonight, we dive into a finale so boldly unhinged, so wildly committed to its own chaotic logic, that it has left audiences stunned and critics scrambling for new adjectives. HBO's The Chair Company, the surreal comedy led by Tim Robinson, has wrapped its first season by launching its protagonist, Ron Trosper, into a deeper and far stranger dimension of unraveling obsession. The episode, provocatively titled, Minnie Mouse Coming Back Wasn't on My Bingo Card, doesn't just conclude a storyline, it detonates it. From the very first scene, the show makes it clear that Ron's world is collapsing inward. What begins as a casual night of drinks between Ron, his increasingly distant boss Jeff Levman, and Jeff's visiting friend quickly spirals into a psychological tipping point. As Jeff praises Ron in a way that's more patronizing than encouraging, something snaps. The comment, intended as a gentle olive branch, ignites the growing storm inside Ron's mind. To the average listener, Jeff's remarks might sound harmless, but for Ron, already bruised by isolation and suspicion, they land like a direct hit. Jeff calls him a man who doesn't need to chase thrills, unaware that Ron has spent weeks doing exactly that, obsessively prying into Tekka's suspicious chairs, the money trail behind them, and the invisible web he believes is tightening around him. When Jeff heads to the stage for karaoke, Ron finally erupts. The show depicts it brutally, with Ron alone in Jeff's office, shaking with fury, spitting accusations into empty air as he rifles through confidential folders. It's an explosion that marks a point of no return. And what makes this moment so compelling isn't just the outburst itself, but the clarity it gives us. Ron isn't chasing a conspiracy out of curiosity. He's chasing it because he feels he must, as if letting go would mean losing the only thing anchoring his sense of purpose. The finale pushes this psychological thread further, framing Ron's obsession as both a sickness and a cure. The show keeps asking, and refuses to answer, the central question: why can't Ron walk away? Is he rejecting the simple life everyone insists should make him happy? Or is he obeying a deeper compulsion he can't begin to explain? Even as reality offers him every reason to give up the case, Ron clings to it with near religious intensity, and the reasons are legitimate. Exposing Tekka's scheme would ruin his wife Beth's business, a company she built while quietly tolerating Ron's erratic behavior. Her apology in the finale, where she admits mocking his investigation behind his back, wounds him deeply. But instead of turning him away from the conspiracy, that wound becomes fuel. What makes this finale so gripping is how it balances absurdity with genuine emotional stakes. Ron is a man spiraling, yes, but he's also someone who believes he's finally doing something meaningful. Each clue he uncovers about Tekka, each chaotic connection he draws, becomes a lifeline pulling him deeper into the labyrinth. And just when the episode appears ready to ground itself, it introduces a new twist, one that targets Ron specifically, suggesting he may not just be chasing a conspiracy, but starring in one. The line between delusion and danger blurs. Robinson's performance shifts from comedic discomfort to something almost tragic, capturing the desperation of a man who feels both mocked and ignored. As the season closes, viewers are left with a lingering question: is Ron uncovering a hidden truth, or inventing one to justify the chaos within him? And more importantly, will he even want the truth when he finally finds it? As the episode moves toward its midpoint, the writing cleverly aligns Ron's unraveling mental state with the show's surreal comedic fabric. Every setting feels just slightly off, every conversation just a little too pointed, as if the world itself is nudging Ron toward paranoia. Even the so-called reasonable explanations surrounding Tekka's shady dealings only deepen his suspicion. Beth's business ties, the strangely pristine office files, Jeff's infuriating calmness. All of it convinces Ron that the conspiracy is both larger and more personal than he first believed. This tonal tightrope is where The Chair Company excels. It lets viewers laugh at the absurdity of Ron's spirals while still feeling the weight of the consequences building around him. And as new clues emerge, each more bizarre than the last, the sense grows that Ron has passed the threshold into a place where logic bends, but conviction hardens. The finale's climax takes shape through a pattern the audience has come to recognize. Ron digging where no one asked him to, only to uncover something that feels impossible to interpret. This time, the discovery centers on a mysterious lead that directly references Ron himself. Instead of discouraging him, the absurdity emboldens him. His investigation becomes a mirror reflecting his own fears, that he's ordinary, overlooked, or simply wrong. The show plays this with razor-sharp precision, balancing humor against psychological insight. Ron isn't just running from a simple life. He's terrified of fading into it. And while the series maintains its playful tone, the finale hints at a darker truth. Sometimes a conspiracy is easier to believe than insignificance. In his frantic search for meaning, Ron finds purpose in the chaos he creates, even as that purpose threatens to consume everything else he cares about. What makes this section especially compelling is how everyone around Ron tries, in their own flawed ways, to pull him back to solid ground. Jeff attempts small gestures of reconciliation. Beth tries honesty, though clumsily. Friends and coworkers look at Ron with a mix of concern and exhaustion, but none of it reaches him. The more people insist that the Tekka scandal is harmless or irrelevant, the more he feels they're unknowingly part of the problem. The finale brilliantly captures the emotional isolation that grows when trust collapses. Ron starts seeing himself as the only person awake in a city of sleepwalkers. And that belief, dangerous, intoxicating, hopeless, pushes him toward a final decision that even he might not fully understand. The audience watches helplessly as Ron's world shrinks until only the conspiracy remains, glowing like a beacon in the dark. In the last stretch of the episode, the surrealism reaches a new peak. Visual cues distort, time feels elastic, and conversations bend in ways that mimic Ron's fractured mental state. The mysterious Minnie Mouse motif reappears, not as a literal figure, but as a symbolic trigger, a reminder that Ron has crossed into territory where the absurd becomes the only thing that makes sense. The storytelling here is deliberate. The more unhinged the imagery becomes, the more convinced Ron is that he's getting close to something big. Yet every revelation is laced with ambiguity. The show refuses to confirm whether Ron is seeing hidden truths or simply constructing them out of desperation. This is where Tim Robinson's performance soars, shifting between comedic panic and quiet devastation with startling ease. By now, it's clear, Ron isn't just losing control, he's embracing the freefall. As the finale closes, the show resists every temptation to tidy things up. Instead, it leaves us with an open-ended image of Ron, standing on the edge of a new, stranger path, one that seems to welcome him more than reality ever has. The lingering question is not whether Ron will continue digging, but how far he'll go before he can't come back. The deeper themes crystallize: the fear of insignificance, the hunger for purpose, and the seductive thrill of believing you've uncovered a secret world. The Chair Company positions Ron as both victim and architect of his own chaos. A man who may have finally found meaning, even if it's buried inside a maze of delusion. As the screen fades, viewers are left unsettled yet fascinated, wondering whether the real mystery is Tekka's conspiracy or the human need to cling to a story that makes life feel important.